Now here's Pastor Charlie with today's bread.
Now, have you ever shared the truth with someone and gotten completely different reactions? One person listens, another pushes back, and someone else wants nothing to do with it. That's exactly what Paul experienced in Corinth. And it's a reminder that success and opposition often go hand in hand. So, howdy. Welcome to Monday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, this week's topic is evangelizing in Corinth and Ephesus. And today we're focusing on success and opposition. Scripture reference is Acts chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. Corinth in the first century was a booming commercial city. Because it sat along major trade routes, it was wealthier than many other cities in the Roman Empire. So, as Paul continued his journey, Corinth became a strategic place to proclaim the gospel. When Paul arrived there, he met Aquila and Priscilla, a Jewish husband and wife who had recently left Rome because the emperor had ordered all Jews to leave the city. Most scholars believe they were already believers before meeting Paul. And since all three of them were tent makers, Paul stayed with them and worked alongside them while continuing to preach the gospel. Now, I think there's something important in that. Paul wasn't afraid to work while doing ministry. He used what was in his hands to help support the mission God had called him to. Basically as his custom. Paul first went into the synagogue to share the message of Jesus with the Jews and God-fearing Gentiles. Later, Silas and Timothy joined him, and for a while there was some success. People listened, some responded, but opposition also began to rise. Eventually, many of the Jews become hardened against the message. Acts says Paul shook out his clothes as a testimony against them. Now, commentators say this symbolic act was similar to shaking crumbs from an apron. In other words, Paul was making it clear that they had rejected the truth they had been given. Now, that may sound harsh, but here's the reality. Paul understood that the gospel must continue moving forward. If some refused to listen, there were still others who needed the opportunity to hear. The Greeks in Corinth also needed salvation. The gospel wasn't only for one group of people, it was for everyone. And that's still true today. Whenever we share God's truth, there will be mixed reactions. Some people will receive it gladly, others may resist it. But our job isn't to control the response. Our responsibility is simply to remain faithful in sharing the message. Success in ministry isn't measured only by applause or acceptance. Sometimes faithfulness means continuing to stand for the truth even when there's opposition. So thanks for joining us today. Monday's prayer focus for America is pray that truth will rise above lies, confusion, and propaganda. Now remember, Jesus is coming back soon. Now Monday's blessing is this. I bless you to trust the Lord with all your heart. You will seek His will in all you do, and He will direct your paths. Now remember, church isn't just some place you go to. It's a family you belong to. So come be a part. So until next time, keep breaking the bread with the bread of life.